Good morning. Give me just a moment and I will get us set up. Thank you for that like. Really appreciate it. Okay, so this morning yesterday we had fantastic news from the Fed, and this morning wiped out by bond yields, interest rate concerns, same old, same old, same old. And boy, yeah, the SPY is not looking that great this morning. Going through. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Andrew. Jay, good morning. How are you? Yeah, going through the 5 things we got. Okay, so first of all, we have the news. News, I would call that positive. So I would think that based after the news of yesterday that we would move higher, and ultimately moving towards that $404 price target for the SPY. Now, if you take a look at the dailies and take a look here, we have finished this correction. This correction is done. And now we have new highs over the previous highs. So we are starting a new leg. So usually what that means is that we are just at the start of wave 1 of a bullish rally. At least that's what the price action suggests. Now, the market doesn't really care what I think. It looks like we're going to have a pullback today. So where could it pull back to? Well, I think as far as it could pull back to, believe it or not, the SPY could pull back all the way down to this, what used to be the resistance level is now a support level. And I think it could pull back all the way to 387. That is a possibility. Now, I do believe we are in the start of a bullish rally and a bullish market. I think that interest rates are overblown. And I think the Fed kind of showed that with, their conviction on that yesterday. And so I think that we're going to go higher. Of course, the market doesn't care what I think. So I think that we are going to see a lot of resistance right at that 404 level. And that happens to be R3 on the SPY right now. So now 404 has been one I've been kind of talking about the last couple of days. And so I think that is a key resistance level. We could see a big pullback from that. So we shall see. Tint World, good morning. Craig, good morning. Webull in the UK. I don't think you can use Webull in the UK, unfortunately. All right, ATXI, I agree. Rocket emoji, gotta love that this morning. AREC, what do we got there? AREC, I don't know anything about. Okay, so let's take a look at the minute on the SPY. I'm looking for a trade. And so far this morning, in the 5 things, we have the news. I would call that bullish. So 1 out of 5 bullish. The Elliott wave, I would say ultimately it's bullish, but I do expect a pullback. And so I would say that that is actually bearish this morning. But I think that's short-lived. I think we might see a big dip this morning and then a recovery slowly through the afternoon as everyone kind of realizes that's an overreaction. And then to newer highs on Friday, and I could see us doing that. And the reason is because I don't think bond yields will hold at this current level. And so the bond yields this morning. Let me just pull up my. Apparently, I don't have it pulled up. Okay. So, 10-year yield, that is bearish. So that is not looking good this morning, unfortunately. Pre-market stock trading, that's what I'm looking for. Give me a second here. Okay, so what am I looking at? Well, here's what you're looking at. We got bond yields on the 5-year Treasury higher, on the 10-year higher. That is considerably higher. one full point, or almost. I mean, look at that. That's really rising. So that's bearish for this morning. The 30-year, that is bearish also. So we are looking at 3 out of 4 bearish this morning. And so I'll wait for my price and volume indicator before I get too crazy. But so we could see a big dip this morning, and yes, indeed, bonds are not looking great. AREC, get in now. Okay, well, I mean, let's take a look at AREC. How much time do we got before market open? 2 minutes. Let me take a look at AREC. Let's see what we got. American Resources. Okay. It's trading below VWAP at the moment. Let's take a look at the daily and see what this is like. Okay. Well, this is good. I like to see this. If you can look here at the bottom of the screen, see how that's moving up on the daily. So I like that. It's at a healthy 50 RSI. So this obviously was way overbought. And so we had a pullback from there. Yeah, it looking pretty nice. I don't know a lot about the company, but I agree. That one looks pretty nice. Okay, as far as top 7 exit point today, I only have one that is kind of on my radar for an exit, and that's VERU on the daily. And let's see, we have 1 minute till open. That is what I'm kind of looking at, and I do plan on updating during these live streams. A lot of the top 7s, I know I've had some people upset that I'm no longer doing a top 7 Monday through Friday like I have in the past. And the reason being is because, first and foremost, I'm a stock trader. That's how I make pretty much all my money. And so I have to do that first and foremost. And so that's the reasoning behind what's going on with that. And so I needed to cut that back. And so doing 2 videos a week on that right now, a midweek review and an end of the week review with also updates on new top 7 picks. If you want more detailed, I would highly recommend our Discord, our Patreon group. And now we have the market open. So here we go. Jay, I'm glad you like the top 7. I apologize. It's just become very hard because it's been hard for me to come out with other content. So based upon everything, and I'm going to wait for the price and volume indicator because I would call this definitely mixed. I would say mixed market. I just had AMC on my price. I have it on my watch list. The reason why I like AMC this morning is, there's been some kind of misinterpretation probably of insider activity. And so I'm expecting that one to have a very good day. So AMC hit its price alert. It's on my watch list this morning. And also I think a gamma squeeze could happen on that one. And so that's one reason why I've been kind of interested in that one. So immediately this morning we're flashing up. And so we're going to wait the first 10 minutes before taking a trade on the SPY. I'm leaning towards bearish, but I am going to wait for that price and volume indicator before making a move this morning. Going bearish, really the best time to do a put option in the market on the SPY is going to be around after the market has been opened an hour. I don't know if you noticed, there's a huge dip that happens in the SPY in that first after that first hour to the second hour of the market day. That tends to be the best time to enter. And so that's a really good strategy if you're looking at put options, if you have a down day, to let the market kind of flash upwards. And again, I think that this is temporary. I think the news was just too good that we're going to see bullish movement, and that's what's going to happen. All right, any of you have any questions? We got a little bit of time while we're waiting for this to set up after the first 10 minutes, and or to see if there's a price volume indicator that happens. So that is that's a computer thing that I pay for, and it sends out an alert of where where typically the SPY has a tendency to move based upon level 2 data, level 3 data, all of that kind of stuff. And so it's something I depend upon and use each and every day. It helps me to kind of make up my mind one way or the other where the market's going. It's usually right. Yesterday it was bearish, and it was definitely bearish in the beginning part of the day. Of course, it can't anticipate a catalyst like Jerome Powell was in the afternoon. Boy, that was great. So anyway, yeah, we're flashing up really nicely. Looking at bullish levels, let's talk about some of the different levels that I think that are happening on the SPY. So I think it's bullish if it gets. Let me take a look at it. Let's see. I would say it's bullish right now at 396. And so bearish, I would say anything at or below 394 is very bearish for the market in direction that I think it's going. But I think 396, if we can get up to 396, that is a very bullish indicator. That's hitting the upper band of the VWAP, and so that is very bullish. So the market is apparently excited about the SPY being lower this morning. Okay, let's see what we got going on. And if any of you out there could hit that amazing and wonderful like button, I of course appreciate that. And some of the stocks on my watch list this morning. The first was AMC, and I just think with the public getting back and so many restrictions being open, the AMC is one. People want to go to the movies for sure, and also possible gamma squeeze happening on that. Tomorrow's a big expiration date. Another stock that is on my watch list that just had an alert for bullish is BAC, so Bank of America. And the reason why I like Bank of America is because with interest rates rising, that helps their profitability. So Bank of America and Wells Fargo are on that list. The other one that's on there is Mara, M-A-R-A. So good old Mara. I think that Bitcoin will just continue to surge. And so that is something that's on my list this morning that I have an alert kind of set up on. So far the market moving up, bullish, but what we've seen lately is that right at market open, it typically moves in the opposite direction. It's going to move for the rest of the day. So that is actually not that exciting for me as far as movement. Okay, so 395 is where the SPY is at. Just don't have a clear direction yet, so it'll be interesting here. Yes, talking about BLUE. BLUE, yes, I am confident in blue still. I think it will do well eventually. I think it will do well eventually. That's, I think, going to be a great run-up stock. I think that we will get past all of this. I know they've had some turnover here, but I am bullish on it still. So some of the insiders and some of the stocks from the top 7 list this morning. The first is Abercrombie. The next is Kids. Both of those are up this morning. Tiptree is up a little bit this morning. GE down a little bit. IMUX down a little bit. Tupperware down 1.93. Mustang Bio even. ICPT down 1.71. And Veru is down 2.41. So that one is taking a dip this morning. So yes, I think that, I know they had an officer leave for a CEO position of another company. I don't find that to be bearish. I mean, think about it. If you are an officer of a company, okay, so my price alert is for bullish. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to wait here a little bit for an opening, but a bullish indicator on my SPY alert. So that's really interesting. Okay, so not 10 minutes in. So I'm going to wait for a dip and wait for it to dip down and for us to get a negative cross and then I'm going to look for an entry on the rebound moving upwards after that. So that is my plan. We will wait for this price action to do what it's going to do, but it needs to, we need to form a dip here. I don't like buying it at 395, so I don't think that that's a good idea. So anyway, so we have everything in. So now that we have everything in, 3 out of 5 are bearish and 2 are bullish, and the Elliott wave is the one that's turning it bearish, and that can be interpreted a lot of different ways, because I think we have resistance at 404 on the SPY, and I don't think it'll be long that we hit that level, because looking at it on the daily, we are moving into leg 1 of a 5-leg move. So up, leg 1 is going to be up, leg 2 is going to be half down on average, and then leg 3 will move forward upwards, and leg 5 is actually the biggest of the waves upwards. We could see that, so that's kind of where we're at on that, in my opinion, based upon that. So the Elliott wave, the reason why it works is because it mimics human nature, and everyone gets tired, of on it and wants to chase and move upwards, and so that's the reason why it's it's good to follow. I found it helps me to put in visual terms what the market is doing. Catalysts are king. So obviously the pandemic that we had definitely pushed it down lower. Okay, so this call probably would have been successful in getting in right at the time of the indicator. But again, I'm going to wait for a dip because I don't like that. And I'm going to wait for a dip. No idea which way the market's going. And it's just going to need, it's very mixed this morning. So it's tough to take a trade when it's like this. And I could be waiting on the sidelines and miss out on a great run. I'm willing to take that. I'm going to wait for a good entry point, a dip, and then come back in. Okay, did you mention AMR? 3 insiders yesterday. AMR. Good question. I don't recall anything on AMR. Let me take a look at it in the insider activity and kind of see what's going on with AMR. Yes, I did. I don't know why I'm not thinking of it this morning. I did mention AMR, and I'll be looking for an insider. I'll be looking for an entry point in that sometime today, but I gotta sell something first. I set aside money for my day trading, and I'm in a lot of stocks at the moment, almost 40 stocks and options, I think 38 total, and I'm out of cash. So I don't have any cash available right now. I do not use margin. I do have a margin account. I like to have a margin account because it enables me to turn my money faster. But I do not like, I don't like holding for periods and unsettled funds and all of that. So I'm not a fan of using margin. In fact, I don't do it. So I'm in that situation right now. I've used all my cash. Everything is in something at the moment. I have a ton of call outs in our premium room that I have some serious money in that I'm waiting for them to do their thing. So yes, AMR is what I'm going to look for, but I think there's going to be a really nice dip right around, for me, since I'm Central Time, right around 10:30. And so looking for an entry on that. Well, so far the SPY is really looking good. I'm excited about that. I'm glad that we're not getting a big dump in the market, that everyone should become kind of numb to rates in my opinion. But I like that. I think that's really good. So again, waiting for an entry point for a bullish move on the SPY. I'm going to wait until after this crosses negative and look for an entry in there. there anything anyone wants to talk about this morning? Any questions whatsoever? I am at your disposal. Tomorrow I will not be able to broadcast. I'm excited to be able to go into the studio, and I'm a piano player and an organist and keyboardist, and I'm going to be doing some studio work. So pretty excited. I think it's going to be great. So I will be, of course, available and watching my stocks in between times I'm not playing through that process. So. But the AMR purchase insider alert, I liked it because it had multiple officers. So it was a very, very bullish. Okay, I'm just looking at bond yields here. Excuse me for a moment here. Just watching the chart. So yes, hedging short term with SQQQ is a good way to kind of attach it. Now, it's something that I have not really utilized. And there goes my phone off. But yes, that's something definitely that you can do. You can hedge against the SQQQ. So, nice move on SQQQ here. So, there are lots of ways to do it. You can definitely take a look at, there's also other things like SPXS. That is a 3x leveraged fund. SPXL is a 3x leveraged fund against the SPY. Extra large means you think it's going to go up. Extra small, lower. So that's kind of how I remember those. So the SPXS bearish is up 1.65%. So it is, of course, doing well with this. So now we're finally getting a dip. Okay, I'll wait for this dip to form and then find a good entry point for a bullish move on the SPY. Okay. Might have been a great time to enter for a for a bearish move when we hit that new high. Of course, you wouldn't know to enter it till right about here. That would have been a cue that we were about to go lower. So interesting. Okay, it seems that by the time I see insiders that it's too late and the price already elevated. How can we get data faster? Okay, so unfortunately, when the insiders come out, I put out alerts immediately on the insiders. Once I've taken a look at it and determined that it was, number one, an open market purchase. That's one thing I'm looking for. The next thing I am looking for is I'm looking for an open market purchase. I am looking for a good transaction of size. The littler transactions are not good. I'm making sure there wasn't selling also, so I have a few different sources for that to make sure no officers were selling at the same time someone else was buying. I'm double checking to make sure there's not a new officer, that the officer who bought isn't brand new to the company. So I'm researching that, because when you have that, that is not bullish at all. Like, for example, if you get a new CEO of a company, when they come in, they're going to buy shares, and they have to report those shares as an insider, and so that is not a good transaction at all. So I also take a look at the news and see what's going on. So it just takes time. You have to do your research on them, because not all of the insiders on the insider report are good. There's a bunch of them that are junk, and so you have to separate the bullish ones from the non-bullish ones. And so entry, I like to try to get in if it's aftermarket, which most insiders are reported after market closed. And so I like to get in aftermarket, and I'm trying to get in for about a 2% above what the amount is. Now, most of the time, my order won't execute. Sometimes it will, it just won't execute. So then I take a look at the Elliott wave the next morning, where I think the market is going. And I actually think the market is going to be bearish today. So I expect a great entry point on AMR later on in the day. And so I'm going to wait it out, wait for that. For me, since I'm Central Time, about 10:30 time frame for the market to kind of get stopped out of the market, and then go from there. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Insiders move. When there's insider activity, especially if it's a low float, they fly quick. And so, I mean, I'm doing it as fast as I possibly can, but you have to go through a checklist, and I have a checklist of what's good and what isn't. And take into account other things like technical factors like RSI. Where's the stock at RSI on the daily? There's lots of different things you kind of need to consider, that and catalysts and so on and so forth. So okay. So unfortunately, getting the data faster, there's no way to do it. Again, I have not taken a trade yet on the SPY here, looking at a bullish trade after this pullback. Really being patient and waiting this out. And I do think that the SPY will hit $404. If not by Friday, it could be early next week. I feel good about the market. I'm not nervous about the market, and I know that yields climbed this morning, but they're going to retreat, and when they do, then the market's going to move up big time. So, all right, unfortunately, a new low here. This is not good for the rest of my stocks. Very good for my put options. I mean, and that's why I hedge. And that's one thing that I'll do is when I'm buying call options, I use only, number one, I only use 1% of my portfolio on an option. But when I buy a call option, I'll buy a put option or a certain amount of put options to offset those for market conditions. Now, on the call options, they'll have a positive catalyst. And on those put options, they will have a negative catalyst. And so that is what I look for. And that is what I do. So that's another way that I kind of just hedge my options. And so that's a really, really good thing. So, and I also have price targets for my option contracts, and I'll set up limit sells for a contract to sell at when it hits this particular price, and do them good till canceled, and they will execute at that. So some people don't do that. Maybe I'm leaving money on the table, but with option contracts, I like to take that profits at a determined point. All right, still forming this dip. Nothing too exciting. Boy. Veru having a nice little comeback. Looking at the insiders this morning, it had a bad dip right at market open. I'm sure a lot of people were dumping it because they saw my plan to sell it. And so a lot of people in our group moving out of that stock. And I'm going to wait it out on that one. Probably do it later in the day. But that's the only stock I have a plan for an exit point on. It's really rare for me to only have one. I have 38 positions at the moment. Some of those are covered, about 15 of those are covered in basic, and then the rest are premium callouts. And then I also have my day trading that I typically save 2% of my portfolio. So I'm looking for an entry point here. But this thing is continuing to dip. This may take a while, people. I'm just watching the chart here. Anyone want me to look up anything? Let's see what good old Veru is doing while we're waiting for this to form. Good old Veru. Oh, no volume. That is killer. Well, we have a positive move here, and so it looks like it's going to move higher. Really low on the RSI, so should see a nice movement up. They finally have data, so we shall see what happens. Back to the SPY. All right, new questions. All right. Should a person buy more blue since it's down? Yeah, this is a great opportunity, I think, today to do that. So let me go ahead and get in blue. Actually, I'm watching the SPY real carefully because it looks like we're closing this gap here. And this could be moving higher very shortly. We're getting close. All right, IMUX. Yes, that's been a tough one because it is, nope, faked us out, no entry, going lower. All right, let's go to let's start with blue. Oops. Let's take a look at blue. Oh, I don't like that. So down 1% so far. Let's take a look at the daily. So yes, we are having a pullback here, but we have moved quite a bit up. I'm up in blue. I hope all of you are also. We have a while till the PDUFA date, and excitement should bridge, should move up on that as we get going. And so I think that blue is going to do well. So I feel fine about blue. All right. What do I think of IMUX? All right, let's get into that one. Yeah, my Webull account's my small account, but I do have a position you can see here of 177 shares at 17,222. So this is down. Yeah, not looking like the best of insiders, that's for sure. This really hasn't moved upwards. After looking at the insider activity, I felt like it was the news before the news. Also, it was a value play from these all-time highs. It got all the way up to 28.21. And so with the market pullback, I feel like this is moving down with it daily on the market. So I still feel very confident in it. And being down 10% is really not fun. So not, of course, this one isn't working out as great as I would like. Okay, GM. Yeah, let's take a look at GM. Good old GM. Well, look at that. Okay, so GM was a great swing play, probably to add right around here. Would have been a great one to move as it's moving upwards. Really doing well. Not too high on the RSI, but as far as the swing play goes, I like to play the MACD on the daily too. Not just on the minute chart, but on the daily. It's all on the type of trade that I'm in. So if I'm planning on it being in it a certain amount of days, then I look at the daily. If I'm going extremely long term, I'll look at the weekly and go from there. But yeah, feeling good about GM. I think it will move much, much higher. And all the news with the electric vehicles, I can see it doing very well. Top out kind of spots that I would look for is going to be right around the $70 price range. I think that's getting just too high, and then we could see a big pullback from there. But looking very good and up today, so that's really good. Okay, so let's get back to the SPY and take a look in what's going on, kind of stay up to date on what this is going on here. So on the 1 minute. Okay, so we did get an entry point on the SPY here. Boy, that was a big gap up. I left it for just a second. Okay, so I'm looking for a dip buy on the SPY. I know it rhymed. Okay. I got in too late. It would have been better to get in here. This isn't a bad entry point, so let's take a look and see what's going on here. All right. Like the March 26th date. Looking at call options, let's take a look and see where our volume is. So the 397 just got in at $2 a share. 397 calls. At $2 per share average. I just love the SPY, how high of the volume is. I mean, it just fills like in an instant. But that was a nice fill point. And so we shall see how this does. So looking for a day trade on the calls, on call options on the SPY, moving upwards now that we've had some price separation down here below. So, okay. LiveX, you think on an uptrend. So King Josh, yes, LiveX has been moving. It's had small insider activity on it that has been good. And so yes, I think LiveX could make a nice move. Okay. So yes, let me just so LiveX had an insider buy by Jay Kingsman yesterday, and so that was a bullish definitely a bullish transaction. Its size I didn't like, but when I looked at it, the size I didn't like. But yes, I do think that LiveX has some room to run, and should be a great trade. Just not one I decided to take. So you got to pick and choose, and so that's what I did. So LiveX has an average of $7.07 analyst target, so it is definitely a buy. Just thought the transaction was just too small. Didn't like it for its size. But it's up 11% today, so shows what I know. Continuing to move upwards, so maybe missed out on that one, but it didn't satisfy that for us. All right, TCAT and EVOL. Okay, let's take a look at TCAT here. Okay, so EVOL just had, it was actually on my watch list this morning, just had a bullish price alert on it. So that is a good trade. I think that's going to be really, really good. All right, TCAT, let's take a look. I'm going to stay on the SPY here since we have an active trade going in it. This is, man, just right there. Looks like it's just going to do a quick little up-down kind of move. Where are we at time-wise? 9:03. 9:03 Central Time. Okay. Okay, so TCAT just took out a and just got a brand new high. It is experiencing a pullback. I think that's a great stock too. Day trade looks like a good entry is setting up here. The thing you'll want to watch for is going to be the MACD down below. You're going to look for a positive cross on that one before entering and where it's at. So right now it's forming a negative cross, so it's dipping. And so you will want to wait out that dip. Okay. SPY is fighting for direction. Right at VWAP. Not holding VWAP is not a good sign. Okay. No, I don't think so. I think IMUX is going to be fine. I think it will move up. I don't want to miss the move. Remember 5' Therapeutics? Everyone was giving me, I don't know if you remember then, but everyone was giving me a hard time about 5'. I think we were down in it like 6-7%. And then it went on, it had news in it after the insider. It had massive insider activity, and then it went down, and then it flew upwards. And so IMUX, take a look at the okay, so we've had our first red here. It's just too soon to exit. We just entered this trade, so I'm gonna wait it out for a move upwards. But IMUX, the chief medical officer bought shares. So yeah, that's why I liked it, and so that's why I thought it would do well. $15.54 is what they paid, so I think it'll continue to move upwards. I think it's a good hold. My outlook for TUP is very positive, and the reason being is because 4 different officers bought in open market, and it was an extremely bullish transaction to see that many different officers go in and in open market like they did. I'm bullish on the stock, and I'm bullish enough to have call options on it, and so I not only have stock, but I have call options in that one, so I expect it to really do well. What categories within insiders do you blacklist? Well, okay, so I have 2 different sectors I really, really don't like. But rotation is really causing things to change. Right now, because of the rotation that's happening in the market, tech is not good at the moment. So the QQQs have recovered, and it's starting to do better, but tech is one I'm kind of less thrilled about at the moment. I always like biotechs. That is my favorite. But it used to be, I really don't like oil and gas stocks. I've kind of mentioned this before. I am not, I like EV vehicles, and I like where I think the market is heading. And I think the writing is on the wall for oil and gas. And so, and I know I've traded XOM quite a few times, but I don't like oil and gas. In the past, I haven't liked financials because they typically don't move on insider activity. They typically don't do anything. That's kind of moved up a little bit for me because of the rising interest rates, has made me pay attention to those. So this market is just fighting for direction. Thanks, King Josh. I appreciate that. But, okay. What do we got going on here? I don't want to cut losses on this. Hopefully this dip is just about over and we can move upwards. So the 394.45 level, that is right above support 1. So support 1 on the SPY is 394.33 this morning. And a level below that is 393.50, then 393. Those are important levels below. So down here on the bottom, those are important levels. So this got down to 394.02 as an absolute bottom so far. And but it held that 394 line in the sand. And I do think that through the day that we are going to see yields kind of calm down. Let's take a look and see what those crazy yields are doing right now. Let's move it up here. All right, let's take a look here. Good old Max, can't hit F5. Okay. So yeah, yields are still not great. Looking at the indices, the Dow is starting to move up. That's because rotation is going out of the NASDAQ into the Dow, and the Dow has really been flying. SPY is a mix. It's got all kinds of good stuff. It's just mixed with the 500 top companies that are in the market. So anyway, it's down a little bit this morning, but I think we're going to get a push upwards here soon. Okay, so now we have a higher low. Now passing this 395.41 is very, very important as we look at levels kind of moving in. So I'm looking for another run up, and then I'll look for an exit point from there. So okay. This market has no idea what it wants to do. Oh, I have something kind of important to announce, or that has been kind of great. Oh, we just had another stock hit its levels. Let's see what it was. QQQ hit its low level, so that is a bearish indicator on the triple Qs. Don't like that. I had set up an alert for 315.50 or below, and it passed that, so that is not good. Entry point for AMC. Let's take a look. Okay, not yet. I would hold off on this, but you can see we just had a new high here. This would have been a beautiful entry point right around the time when I called it out on my alert this morning. AMC is on my watch list, and so this morning, and so that's one that's been just kind of on my watch list for a day trade. So that looks very good. But it is dipping now, so you want to wait until it dips down lower and then find an entry point. I would call it bullish this morning. So I would say that that's a bullish trade for today. Okay. SPY is stinking. 394.26. Let's see where we're at for values. It just passed below support 1. Okay. Okay, so we got this is a high, this is a low. We need this thing to start turning around. All right, and take a look at the tape here. The orders are larger on the bid side than the ask side. Until right now. Now it's the other way. It changes so fast. Some big buy orders right there. That was big. Okay. So, Mitchell. Yes, that's the thing I was getting to, and I don't know why I got distracted. I just different train of thought, I guess. But yes, I have a position. I have a position now in Bitcoin. It's about 1% of my portfolio, so I haven't gotten too exciting about it. But I do think it's going to move upwards with the continued rally. I'm up since I purchased, and this was just a few days ago. I have not been a Bitcoin holder in the past, but it's just a portion of my portfolio, just 1%. And I probably will add to that as it gets going, but and I'm looking for dips to add that in. And so far I'm up 6%, and so it's going pretty well. All right, finally getting a nice green candle here on the SPY. And I think that we have formed, a higher low is, I think, what we have formed. So the trend should be for it to move higher. The time frame we need to start watching for, though, is now that it's 9:15, we need to watch for that 9:30 time frame. It's not the best. So we got about 15 minutes here, hoping for a nice rally and then an exit point on this prior to that. So it's just about to cross. We are so close. You can see those smaller red bars there. So we're moving in the right direction. But yes, I love blockchain. Mara, Riot, HUTMF is one that's kind of a hidden gem. It's an OTC stock, and it's Bitcoin mining, and it's very, very good. So that's a kind of a hidden gem. I've made some big time money with HUTMF, a little over 100%, I think, in February on that one. So that was really great. Okay, staying above here is really key. This level, 394.17, it cannot dip below that. That would not be a good move. So, Varner, what's that? So I don't store Bitcoin. I'm actually, and this is really sad, but I have opened a, well, I've kept my, I've had a Robinhood account just to kind of keep it open, and then also to do different videos on like instructional videos is what I kind of planned on. So I transferred money to my Robinhood account to buy Bitcoin and hold it. I could have done Coinbase, or there's a lot of other different ones that are good, but I chose Robinhood just with its, I don't know, I just chose it. I figured if I can make money on Bitcoin with Robinhood, I can make money with any broker. I know Webull has it, but as far as buying slices, I don't know if you can. And since I'm just buying the standard BTC, and so my goal is my price target's 200,000 for BTC. We shall see what happens. All right, finally, we got a green movement here. So this is great news. So here we go. We got 12 minutes till 9:30. 9:30 is a key moment, so we want to watch that. And also, we'll want to watch this very sensitive SMA line here too, that I have up there. Okay. So moving upwards. Come on. All right, important levels to get above in looking for a bearish trade here, or a bullish trade here, sorry. We're in call options, Ray, call options. Okay, so passing the VWAP is key. Passing and holding above VWAP. Volume weight average price. Hmm, 9:19, got 11 minutes here. Neos. Thoughts on Neos? Okay. Well, there's no news on Neos at all. And this morning it was on my watch list because surging for no reason. That's literally what the news had to say about good old Neos. Surging, no reason at all. And it got up to, it was right around $1.50. Why are Neos Therapeutics and AYTU Biosciences stocks soaring today? And it was a question mark. And this came out from Benzinga. Okay, so here's what I've noticed. Benzinga puts out a list of stocks that are moving at absolutely no news at all. And Neos hit that list this time. So here's what I found, and this is going to blow your mind, but this is the truth. And typically when a stock is moving like that on no news at all, it's because a prominent YouTuber that has a Discord has said, I think this is going to be great, or they're doing a feature video on it, or Neos has paid one of those people and it's a paid endorsement for the stock. They don't even invest in the stock. And so there's a couple of those people on YouTube that have a lot of subscribers, and when they recommend a stock to their Discords, a lot of people follow it completely and utterly blindly. And that could be what's going on with Neos, but there's absolutely no news on it. So that's why it's dipping, is because there's no news. Everyone's like, why did it jump like that? Someone puts out a Discord notification, and then all the buyers inside the Discord, if it's a large Discord, buy it up based upon how much money they have. So anyway. Okay, we are above VWAP. Here we go. Bullish trade. Moving upwards. It's not as bad as you think, everybody in the market. It's time to buy SPY. Okay, so we're at 9:21. Watch very, very closely the 9:30 time frame. That is key. It is key every single day. Boy, it happened yesterday, big time. We saw a spike between 9:15 to 930, and then it got to 930, and man, did the SPY just tank. And it'll happen. If there's a lot of great sentiment, it'll never tank. But that is just a time frame to watch. And what happens is a lot of the big brokers, they have people, literally their job is to stop other people out of their positions to make the stock cheaper. And then they're trying to drive the price down so that other people within that same company, let's say Goldman Sachs wants to enter a position on Tilray, for example, and so they will have trying to hit stop losses and try to get the price down lower, and they will sell at a higher rate and then knock it down. If there's a lot of stop losses in the order queue, they'll knock it down and then they'll buy it at that lower level. Then it'll move upwards. So here's a big shocker for you. The market is rigged. That's why insiders are so great, is because they have to report their data. And so you get to see how much they bought and what they bought and everything like that. So it's just something that's kind of happening with that. What do you think about AABB? It keeps growing all the time. All right, let's take a look at AABB. It's not on my radar at all, and I've never heard of that stock. At least I don't think I have. Asia Broadband. It's a cheap penny stock. Okay. I invest in penny stocks. I don't have any kind of thing on it, so they're not my favorite because they tend to be extremely volatile. But this one is interesting to me. The volume is through the roof, absolutely through the roof. Let me take a look here. Is it tradable on Robinhood? Believe it or not, that is important for the movement of a stock. Good old AABB. Nope. Okay. Is this an OTC? Must be an OTC. Keeps growing, keeps doing well, super high volume. I think you follow the hype. Look at the daily RSI on it. If I wasn't watching this closely, I would pop over to it, but I'm going to wait a little bit. NEOS. Yes, NEOS moving upwards. No news, no reason at all why it should be moving up. Okay. All right, 924. ZIM. Let's take a look at good old ZIM here. Again, while I'm waiting for an exit point on a stock like this, or on an option, on this SPY call option that I'm in, I'm not going to pull away from the screen. I am watching it very, very closely. As soon as I am out of the trade, we'll take a look and kind of go from there. Okay, ZIM integrated shipping. Shipping's been huge, up 4% today. Looking like it's going to have a strong day. Let's take a look at the news on it. Wall Street shipping stocks. Yeah, all shipping stocks are hot right now and should continue to be that way. This would be a great swing. I would watch the daily RSI on it for entry, and then exit when the MACD crosses negative. All right, we're finally moving higher, but warning, 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 warning. It is 9:26. There's only 4 minutes here before the craziness should start. And so it might even be wise to move into a put option after this option call out is done. But this is a key time of day. So we got 4 minutes here. So let's let it surge. Usually the highest point is going to be, and hitting a new high above 395.41 is a really big deal here. And we're getting really, really close. 215 EA, we just talked about LiveX. Yes, LiveX has had some insider activity, a lot going for it. I think it's a good company. but it wasn't large enough insider activity for me to be to buy it with conviction, and so I held off on it. But it's something that's definitely on my radar. I think it will do well. John, you're asking, I cannot wait until they allow OTC trading on Robinhood. Are they going to allow? I think that would be amazing. I think that would be utterly huge, but I don't know of any plans of that. So that's interesting. I think it'll be huge for OTC stocks. All those new investors with these little cheap penny stocks. Oh, yeah. That'll be big. Loaded UVXY yesterday. Yeah, that was a very swift, very great move, Chris. With the market being up as much as it was bound to have some fear of people missing out on profits. And so if you did that right at close of market, that was a brilliant move. Should have really fantastic. Now, a little hesitation though. I think that this little volatility is temporary. At least the Elliott wave theory seems to think so. So that's something to watch for. Be really careful. Okay, we are at 928 and the stock is surging upwards. SPY is doing very well. Hopefully your calls are doing great. Oh, John, you were just saying. Okay, I think that would be huge. CLPT, tackling Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, good long term. I have not right now for those particular. I think ANVS, if you're looking for a Parkinson's and Alzheimer's stock that could go absolutely parabolic by next week because they have a presentation. They've had good phase 1 data. And they are announcing some phase 2 results for their Alzheimer's. And so that is going to be, I think, very key. So that's one you might take a look at, see what you think about it. But I have not looked at CLPT. I might check it out later. IDEX. Well, IDEX, so many great Ideanomics, I believe is the stock. I haven't invested in it. It doesn't fit any of my strategies. But I look at it and I go, I think this thing can go crazy. So it's on my radar for that reason. Okay, so we are at 929. Interesting. Price action here in the next minute is key towards this trade. Okay. Okay. All right, so I just give me a second here. I'm trying to sell. And I just sold that for $2. Stinking break even. On the SPY, I just broke even on that option today, and I just sold it. See? 930. Flipping 930. Ugh. Like clockwork. So, broke even on today's trade. The market is just really choppy, fighting for direction. Now that we're to the hour that we're at, or to the minute that we're at, actually on the SPY, it would probably be a good idea to go in on put options. I'm going to stay on for another 15 minutes. I'm going to stay on until 9:45. If you could please hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. It helps recommend this video to others and also recommend the stream to others as it becomes available. So I'm going to start looking into other stocks that you guys are talking about. All right, so let's take a look at, since I'm still waiting on an exit point for Veru, I personally am going to take a look at this one. I have some shares in Robinhood, or excuse me, in Webull, and so it's showing up here that I have it. 2.95% down. Well, not the best. Low volume. I'm going to wait till later in the day. I do think the market will do better as we get further and further as the day goes on. All right, I'm going to take a look at IDEX. Let's take a look at IDEX. Ideanomics. Okay, so it's trading below VWAP. Right now is a trade. At this moment, it is not a good idea to enter, in my opinion. You will want to wait for this dip to form. It looks like it's about to form a dip. This should move down with the market based on what time of day it is. And so this is a great entry time to enter. And so I think that this one's coming down. A stock that I've talked about that had a recent insider activity. AMR. I'm going to take a look at AMR. But looking at the daily on Ideanomics, it has come down off of its 553 high here, come way back down, and it's on the daily it's about to pass over into the green. So right now it's a really good value, and so of course any kind of short-term catalyst can change things, but I think that this one is really close to a buy point. I think it's really good. Anytime you see this really kind of narrow here, usually means the dip is over and it's finally going to move upwards. Okay, going to the 1 minute on that one. Okay. Yes, John. Are you talking about LiveX? I think that's what you're talking about. LiveX. All right, so lots to talk about LiveX this morning. Let's talk about it. Oh, brother. Well, it's forming a dip now, so it's not a good entry point yet. With the insider activity, this might be a great stock to get into. But I didn't like it because it's smaller size. But yes, obviously with LiveX Media going upwards, I think that this could be really great. Okay, so let's take a look at the daily and see if it's a good value. So yeah, in the daily, very, very good move here. This crossover is key for entry for a move higher, and so that looks really, really good. I think that this can move much, much higher from where it's at currently. So let me take a look at, let's take a look at analysts on here. All right, 707 median on LiveX. So that's some nice upside. I think that is the highest that you'll see in the short term until analysts change their targets. Typically when investors hit that particular level, they're out. And so that's something to watch for too. But yeah, LiveX looking really, really good. But I think that the market is going to dip right now, being the time of day that it is, between 9:30 and 10:30. In fact, let's go back over the SPY and see what it's doing. That's why I exited that trade for even. Yeah, it's starting to work downwards here. This, look at that. 10:29 was the first red candle. It's clockwork after the first hour. It's like they all like plan it together, and are. I just have this envision, you know, of Goldman Sachs calling SMB Capital saying, all right, time to short, let's go. let's hit it, you know. Let's stop out all these orders. Let's sell all our shares. Of course that shouldn't happen because that's illegal, but it is interesting. John's recommendation, Ruby. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at Ruby. I did not buy Ruby. I love John's calls. I haven't been doing very much on it here lately, but okay. So we're trading below the quick SMA, so that's not good. We're looking at a dip. It's dipping with the market right now. Overall today, pretty much break even. Let's take a look at the daily and see what good old John was seeing on this. Holy cow. Okay, so the time to enter Ruby was here. I feel like I'm really, really late to the party, so that's something I'm not kind of looking at. Boy, that is all the way to 38.71. Okay. Now it's 24s. So yeah, the time to enter on this would have been 3.9 for an ideal entry point. And so the reason why I pulled back is because you see this on the RSI. When investors see this, they're sellers. And so that was a good point of exit. So you saw the crossover here, perfect. So we have a MACD crossover, beautiful on the daily chart. And then, yeah, the time to get out was here. So interesting. And also the market's been dipping the last couple of days, and so that's affecting it too. I believe this is a NASDAQ stock, and right now the NASDAQ is not doing that hot. So lots of reasons on that. Okay, next. Took a look at Ruby. Thoughts on FTFT. Let's go to FTFT. I have traded FTFT before. It's been a little while. All right. Ooh, really nice entry here. Future FinTech. Yes, anything FinTech has been great. I'd forgotten what this was. I could see this doing very, very well. Boy, look at that movement. Yeah, crossover. Then you had the negative crossover here. So that would have been a profitable trade, but barely. Crossover again. And then the RSI got overheated, and so that was the time to exit. So entering here was there. Once the RSI was overheated here, then it was time to get out. And so you could see that dip there. So, you know, this is how you trade. I mean, this is why I pay attention to the RSI, why I pay attention to the MACD. Here, looking like another great entry point. Boy, love those slow moving. So this is great for swing play, in my opinion. So I think that this is a good entry and that this stock should do well. Anything FinTech has really been doing well. So that is not a surprise. Let me see how the overall market's doing. Let's go back to here to the 1 minute and kind of see what's going on. Interesting. We had that sell off, then we hit a new high. Well, anyone who held, congratulations. But you can definitely see the attempt here, and it always happens right at 9:30 after the market's been open about an hour. But obviously they don't work together and they're not coordinated, so we saw the dip here and then people buying it up, which I hope the SPY goes up. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what the Elliott wave suggests, so that's interesting. All right, let's move on from FTFT. All right, next. LYV, John. Bam. Let's take a look at this chart. Wow. Oh, you were talking about Live Nation. This is a different one than the other. Well, again, this is in the same realm, and also with us getting back to normal, concerts should be running. I believe that's what you were saying. This stock is. I'm not familiar with this particular one. Looking at the 1 minute. The entry point, a good entry point would have been right about here. This would have been a fantastic entry point here, moving upwards as it goes. Okay, now, as far as the daily goes, let's take a look at the longer view here. Well, the longer view is that 73 would have been the perfect time to enter as far as this goes. Going up until negative crossover right around 91. would have been ideal as far as a swing play goes. So right now it's dipping. I would wait until it fully dips on the daily before taking a position. Unless you have insider activity or some other reason, some catalyst to be in it, that's why I would do that. How often will I be doing live? Well, currently I'm set up to do live on Mondays and Thursdays. Now Friday I'm going into the studio, so there won't be a live stream at all on Friday. I have thought about doing this each and every day since I've cut down on the making it available to everyone each and every day. I just haven't gone that far yet. I appreciate you finding this informative. That's of course my whole goal of doing it in the first place. And yeah, trying to figure out how to do content, how to take care of the value of the standard and premium room that we have with our Discord. Because currently on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have been live streaming, but only doing it privately for them. And so we've just been kind of talking about it, but I have been thinking about doing that. So it would be definitely a direction. My only concern with doing that has been I don't want any of my standard or premium members to be upset, even though I give them the full watch list and do lots of things. And also that room has a lot of other great reasons and fantastic traders in it. Well worth the money, in my opinion, the standard level. But anyway, thinking about it. Just thinking about it. Okay. All right. Do I like BFT? Let me look. I don't know. So many of these stocks I don't. All right. We're on the daily. Yes. Technically, not knowing anything about the company or any of its moves, this is a good swing play. This is in a great position. Not only is the RSI in the 50s, but this looks like a really nice upward trajectory stock. So I think this one's good for a swing, not knowing anything about it. On the minute, if you're looking for an entry, looking at the minute down here, entry point, there's quite a few of them, but if you were looking for entry this morning, this would have been key right here. That particular level at 1607 would have been okay, positive confirmation that this is moving higher. And then if you were day trading, you would exit here, you would enter here, so on and so forth. Okay. So that was BFT. Okay. Can you tell me what indicators Ray is using at the bottom? I'm sure he already mentioned it, but I only joined just now. Okay. Indicator 1, this indicator right here, this is RSI. Very, very important to have on your charts. If you don't have it, it is so important. So you can see that I have it here, RSI. Have it set up with the 614.24 setting on that. And this is on Webull. And I love Webull for its charts and scanners. And if you don't have Webull and you're looking for a powerful broker, we have a link in the description down below. Okay, there's my commercial. And but anyway, that is one of the indicators that I'm looking at. RSI is extremely important. You can see it in the chart. Let's take a look at the daily and how important RSI is in the daily. Okay, so let's take a look here. Overvalued, right? What happened? Bam, down lower. The RSI always gets kicked down when it hits here. It just does. So looking for an entry point. You're looking for an exit point. The RSI was here. Confirmation that it was down would have been here. You would have exited right there. That would have been a good move for a positive trade. So see how that worked? This would have been the entry point. That would have been right around 1638 where it's at right now. Then it would have hit its exit point. That would have been right around 1850. That would have been a positive trade. So you can see how these two kind of work together. So entry, exit, or exit here. It all depends on how you are. But RSI is really, really important. So that's RSI right there on the daily. And then looking down here for entry point, This is your perfect entry point right here. Looking at BFT, this is a good day to enter. And that's why you saw that big green bar like that. It had that positive momentum moving that direction. So the MACD that I have set up is the MACD 12, 26, and 9. It is, the MACD is moving averages. So that's 3 different moving averages over one another. And that's why this cross works, because it's bullish when the shorter RSI passes above the longer RSIs. And so that's how this works. And it helps you technically to find a way to get in and out. And it's a very good way to trade. Okay. AABB, big volume. Okay, I agree. Ray stepped away. Did you go over Ruby? I did. I totally did. Well, let's do it again. Let's talk about Ruby. All right, so let's go to Rubius Therapeutics. Entry point, perfect entry point would have been on March 9th. RSI got overheated on 316, very overheated. That's where I would have exited. Would have been sometime on 316 based upon that model right there. Taking a look at what's going on right now. Okay, so yes, we are still green here. We still have wonderful price strength. Look at that price strength, really terrific. But let's go to the minute and kind of see what's happening. Ruby is in the NASDAQ, so it's going to get beaten down. At least I think it is. I think it is. I think Ruby's in the NASDAQ. I've traded this one before with a lot of success after insider activity. So right now it's below VWAP. Let's look as an entry point. It is just about the perfect point for entry if anyone out there is looking to do that. Live is super interesting. I agree. So Tint World, or excuse me, on Ruby, I would think that, man, I'd stay in it. I think that we could. It looks like we're going to see a positive day today, and so if we could get even more price strength moving to the upside. Yes, this is too overheated for the RSI. That would have been an indicator to get out. But I think it could go much higher. Let's take a look at the analyst targets on Ruby. Okay, not much upside here. 2740 is a short-term resistance probably. Now, of course, news can throw any stock off its game, but I think that's your top on that. You're welcome, Chris. I think it's great. I'm enjoying them too. So I guess it's the teacher in me. I went to school to become a teacher, even though I never graduated, because I was making more money doing other things than what a teacher's salary would be. So I guess that's just the part in me. So I look forward to doing that. Okay, yes, RSI is very, very important for most stocks, but insider activity trumps all of it. It is a catalyst because catalysts are king. So you can look at charts all you want, but what makes this chart move up in the first place? What makes it move up in the first place? Catalysts. Catalysts are what make stocks move up and down, not charts. Not now, this becomes a negative catalyst because the RSI is overheated. But insider activity, especially if you have multiple officers going in an open market, that trumps everything. I mean, investors that know and that trade this way like I do, and there are other investors out there that trade this way. I'm not the only one who knows how to read insider activity. It's just been, that's like my main thing. That's like what I do. So anyway, that is what I think. Okay. Last question. I've gone late, looks like. Second time turning into the live stream, and now it's something I look forward to. Aw, well, thank you. I look forward to it every morning too. And, it's so funny because I have different trades kind of going on. I have to set up, in order to do this, I set up all kinds of limit sells. Just if a stock hits this ridiculous price, I want it to automatically execute. And so I do a lot of that so that I can do this. And it's hard to concentrate on so many stocks at one time. But I usually have a plan when I'm planning on exiting a stock, I have a plan for exit, and I look over all of my positions every morning, decide which ones are overheated and need to get the boot, and so on and so forth. So I'm glad you enjoy it. And John, yes, I'm thinking about it. Now, I will not be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be in the recording studio and playing some keys and some organs. So really kind of looking forward to that. That's my other passion in my life, is definitely music. And I was studying to be a music teacher in my story before, but anyway, you start doing other things, making more. They don't pay teachers enough, and so I decided never to do that because I was making money in other ways. Yes, go Mizzou. How do you get the RSI graph on Webull? Okay, well, you need to do the desktop version. Okay, so this will be the last question I answer, and then I'm going to end the stream. Okay, so how do you get it? Well, up here, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. Watch it go all the way up. All right, and we have here, and then it pulls up moving averages, the Bollinger. Very important. I don't like to put too much stuff on my charts. VWAP. VWAP is key. You want to click that. So the moving average I have there, the VWAP is important. MACD and RSI. So I click all of those and I get the setup. So that's how that's done. All right. John ZOU, and I am going to sign out. Raythoven out. I will be back on Monday. So Monday live stream, looking forward to doing that. And that will be live and available to everyone. And anyway, hope all of you have a fantastic day in trading. Hopefully this market gets going the direction that I think it will, although the market doesn't care what I think. Yeah, SPY, I mean, it's not doing terrible. Yeah, up here, down here. All right, had a break-even trade today, but look forward to better trades in the future. Hopefully you make money on that call option. It didn't exactly work like we hoped, but, you know, hey, them's the breaks. Okay, I will see you all later.